Hello, Michael here from Geterbrewed. Today we're going to be looking at the extract brewing. It's the sort of next step from your beginner beer kits that we sell in here. Today we're going to be working with the American Pale Ale extract beer kit. So when you order one of our spray malt extract kits, this is what you get. So you get your extract beer kit steeping grains. So we have them done up to, for this particular one, Crisp Light Crystal 200 grams. We've got Dextrin at 200 grams and Crisp Munich as well at 225 grams. Then you've got your spray malt, which is packaged here. We provide instructions for how to rehydrate that as well, which will be included in your pack here with your extract brewing instructions. And then you get your 3 different sets of hops. So for this one we have an addition at 60 minutes, an addition at 15 minutes, an addition at 0 minutes, and then obviously your Brine 87 yeast, your Wurflock tablet, and the muslin sock, which you use for steeping the grains in. Assuming you have one of our beginner beer making kits with the liquid malt kits that are provided with them, this is a step above that. So rather than just adding the liquid malt, 3 litres of hot water, and then topping that off to your desired level of 23 litres or 20, whichever you desire. We're going to be doing something different. We're going to be doing what's a partial mash, but it'll be steeping the grains for 30 minutes. Combining that with the spray malt, and then moving that onto a boil and adding the fresh hops as we go along at the times indicated. We have 2 different types of malt extract. We have the liquid malt extract, which is obviously in the liquid form, and the spray malt or dried malt extract, which is spray dried. So just to get started, what I like to have is a bucket full of Pro San. It's a wash that we have, acidic and ionic rinse. It just means that once you put that in and pour it out, you don't have to rinse it again, but it's good to have because we'll be using things that are going to be in contact with your precious wort or your beer, and we want stuff to be sanitized to give you the best chance of a good beer. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rehydrate the spray malt. We do that in cold water, and then we're going to add it to the pot with some cold water and bring that up to temperature. Use a fork. Ideally a whisk would be far better, but this is all I have to hand today, so unfortunately that's what we're going to work with. So 2 litres of water, we're just going to rehydrate this little by little, try and make it a little bit easier for us whenever we're working with it on the stove. The reason why you don't use, well I don't use warm water here, is that the steam makes it clump together. Now the clumps aren't a major issue, it's just you're trying to break it down as much as you can just to make it easier to dissolve. Yeah, it's pretty well dissolved for me. This will break down, even if it's transferred into the fermenter. Small clumps aren't a big issue, the yeast will have a good go at it. So let's put about half of that rehydrated spray malt into the pot. Now we're going to add the steeping grains. So now we're going to unpack the steeping grains. We're going to add it to the muslin sock that I referred to earlier, and then add that to the pot. And then we're going to get that temperature to 68 degrees and hold it there for 30 minutes. And once that's done, we'll move on to the next step, which is boiling. So we've overshot the temperature a little bit, aiming for about 65, 68. It's now creeping up to about 70 degrees, but you can see in the pot there now that all that the clumps that you've seen in the spray malt have now broken down. We're going to move that off to the back hob here now that hasn't been on, and just cover it with the lid. Well, the 30 minutes is up, so I've put a wee tea towel over top of it just to kind of help retain the temperature. It's dropped slightly, not by much, but it should be 100%. That's the steeping process done in 30 minutes, so we're good to move on to the boil now, and get this onto the front hob again and get the rolling boil going. So we'll just set that up there and let it drain out. So now we're moving on to the boiling stage. So that'll be 60 minutes. So the 60 minutes starts from 60 minutes and counts down to 0. We'll be adding the first addition, which is an Aurora hop, at 60 minutes. That's your bittering hop. Then at the 15-minute mark, we're adding Cascade and Centennial, 50 grams. So that'll be your flavor hops oil. And then the very end hop at 0 minutes will be Cascade and Centennial again. Same quantity, 50 grams, and that'll add a little bit of aroma as well, but it's mostly flavor. So you can see the foam on top, that's the hot break. So we're going to add our first hop addition. This is the 60-minute hop addition, Aurora, 20 grams, so we'll add that now. I like to have a little spray bottle of Star San, Chemi Pro San, water would do as well. Just in case it starts to froth over, you don't want to leave this unattended because it will make a mess of your kitchen if it boils over. But it's just nice to have, just to sort of knocks it back a wee bit. It just stops it from gathering and losing sort of headspace there in the pot that might cause a boil over. So we'll start the timer now at 60 minutes. Next hop addition will be at 15. 15-minute mark. I like to add my protoflock now. Some people 10 minutes, but there's no harm in sticking it in at 15 minutes. Along with your second hop addition, which is 25 Cascade, 25 Centennial. So it's 50 grams each at 15 minutes. So that's the 60-minute boil over. We're at the flame out stage, so we're going to turn off the heat and add the 0-minute hop, which is another 25 grams each of Cascade and Centennial. We'll maybe leave that for a little while, for the hop stand just towards the end there, but this is the last hop addition now. So now we're going to move on to chilling the wort that we've made here on the stove. So you can move that into a sink, which we're going to do here. You can add ice to that to help sort of make it get down to temperature quicker, or if you have one of our wort chillers which are available on our website, you can use one of those. That'll certainly get it done a lot quicker for you and allow you to package it into your fermenter and pitch your yeast sooner rather than later. We've left the hops in there, the hop stand, for approximately 10 minutes. They've now been removed, as you can see in the jug here. The tea bag's really simple, just means you can retrieve them. Set of tongs or even a spoon that we were using earlier is a good way of getting it out. But we're filling the sink up with water now. We're going to lift that now and set it into the sink. So the reason why we're doing this video today is just to show you how easy it is to do your extract brewing on a small pot, on a stove. It's more manageable, it's easier to move around for safety as well. We've reduced it now to what essentially looks like a liquid malt, but obviously you've got the process of having the fresh grains, you've got the fresh hops. It gives you a little bit more control of what's going into your beer. If you were at this point with a 23-litre batch, you would just have a far bigger quantity of it. But as you can see with the 7-litre pot that I've used in the stove there, it's very manageable and it's easy to do. So once we get that down to temperature, which is about 18 to 20 degrees, we're going to put it into our fermentation bucket and top that off with cold water just to the desired level, and then we can move on to pitching the yeast. So we've had this fermenter with a lot of sanitizer in it for the duration of the brew day. It's just nice to have something where you can put your spoon in to sanitize it when you need it, or like we have in here your airlock. So yeah, I'm going to empty this out now. It should be well sanitized, and then we'll pour this wort that we've made into the fermenter and then top it off with 23 litres of cold water. Yeah, so at this point here we have our wort, which we've rehydrated. We've added to the steep, then we've boiled. And at this point here, this is exactly where you would be with a standard liquid kit, the foundation beer kit that we would do. So our wort's in the bucket. Now we just top that off with 23 litres. Right, so there we go. That's our extract brew day completed. All in all, it took us about 2 hours to do. So, whereas the liquid malt kits would normally take 30 to 45 minutes to completion, this one here takes a little longer. But as you can tell, it was a lot more fun and it was a lot more control over the actual ingredients that we put in there. Everything's good. It's in the fermenter. This normally takes about 7 to 12 days. We'll obviously do hydrometer readings in between just to see where that ends up. 3 consecutive days with the same reading. It's good to bottle. But in the next video, we're going to show you how to bottle it, and then we're going to share some with the guys here in the warehouse. Okay, thanks very much for watching. If you have any other questions or you need any more advice, feel free to reach out to us here at Geterbrewed. Catch you in the next one. Happy brewing.